Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Western Association for College Admissions Counseling College Fair. We're really excited to have you participating in this event tonight. We've got some fantastic schools here with us today. My name's Andy, and I'm going to be your facilitator. But before we get started, I just want to give you a few housekeeping items. Your camera and microphone are off, so the panelists cannot see or hear you. You can use the Q&A button on your screen to type your questions to our presenters at any time. And this presentation is being recorded, and that recording will be available at strivescan.com/WACAC. I'd now like to turn things over to our first presenter, Miami University.
Hey everybody, just give me one quick second to get my screen sharing set up. Alrighty, so yeah, thank you for joining this StriveScan Fair. Like you just said, I am from Miami University. So my name is Joseph. I am one of the regional counselors that we have. So I'm based in Seattle. My territory covers everything from California to Oregon and Washington. If you haven't heard of Miami University before, I'm going to cover just a quick little spiel about the school. We are based in Oxford, Ohio. We've got just about 20,000 undergraduate students, typically no more than 20,000. So it's not too overcrowded here. And essentially, we're kind of your quintessential, cute college town. So everything's, within walking distance, tons of coffee shops, restaurants, boutiques, things like that. We're about an hour and a half north of Cincinnati. All right, so if you've heard of the phrase, public ivy or original public ivy, essentially an author wrote a pretty well-renowned book back in the 1980s that he went all around the country looking for schools that resembled, Ivy League esteem and academic level. And Miami University was, fortunate to be one of those, one of the original considerations. So with that, obviously, academics are incredibly important at the school. We are in top 10 consistently for undergraduate teaching, 10 years in a row for this new US News ranking. With that, our Farmer School of Business always has incredibly high rankings. Our nursing program is pretty good. And obviously, when you're looking at academics, statistics and rankings aren't everything, but definitely helps to know that, the education you're receiving is going to make you prepared for your career. If you are interested in athletics, we are part of the Mid-Atlantic Conference in Division I. Football, basketball, baseball, everything that you'd expect at a D1 school. I will say football is probably not our most prominent sport right now, but it's had its good years and its bad years. Hockey and ice skating, figure skating are definitely pretty prominent on campus. With that, we do have over 600 intramural teams. If maybe you're looking to, have fun with friends on a little more organized way, but not, play competitively. And then kind of in the middle of that, we do have 50 plus club sport teams with, things to do on campus, but not just, based in athletics. We do have over 800 clubs, honor societies, fraternities, et cetera. A good 30% or so of the campus do take part in Greek life. So it's not, an overwhelming presence if you don't want to be part of Greek life, but if it's something you want to do, obviously that opportunity is going to be there for you. One thing that's really important to consider, especially for students that are considering, going out of state for school is the cost of attendance, obviously. So we do have automatic consideration for merit scholarships. Essentially, if you apply before December 1st, you'll receive priority consideration. And what that means is, as long as you get your application in before December 1st, you're going to be considered for the max amount of awards. So the merit scholarship, you don't have to apply for. It's just automatic consideration with your application. Things like our honors award, if you attend our Bridges program, everything like that, as long as it's in by December 1st, you'll be considered for max. And other dates to consider that are important. December 1st, I just mentioned, obviously scholarship consideration, but with that also early action 2 does end December 1st. So early action 2 and early action 1 are non-binding. You don't have to agree to attend the university. You don't have to make a commitment at that time, but it just allows you to have a slightly less competitive applicant pool, max scholarship consideration, and you do receive your admissions letter, significantly sooner than if you apply for regular decision. If you see early decision, binding, it says in parentheses, November 1st. Yes, you do receive your decision, significantly early, even well before Christmas break. It is a lesser pool of applicants, so, a significantly higher acceptance rate, but it is a binding agreement. So only apply for early decision if you are 100% committed and interested in attending Miami University. All right, so with that said, again, I am Joseph at Miami University. Our fight song is Love and Honor. And if you have any questions, I'm going to go ahead and drop two links in the chat. First one will be to sign up for updates from our admissions office. Second one will be a Find My Counselor link. It'll be preloaded with my information, but just in case, I'm not your counselor for your state or your county, just go ahead and input your information. You'll be able to find the email address and phone number for your admissions counselor. Thanks.
All right, thank you to Miami University. Next up, we have Kalamazoo College.
All right, awesome. Great to be here with everybody at 7-ish on the West Coast. It is 10:05 p.m. here. So I'm excited to be staying up a little late with you guys to talk about Kalamazoo College. Let me get my screen shared. All right, so I am going to go over some basics about Kalamazoo, but first let's talk about where we are. So Kalamazoo, Michigan, I bring a handy map with me everywhere. I guess that's backwards. We are down here about 2.5 hours from Chicago and about 2 hours from Detroit. Kalamazoo, Michigan's a small college town. You're going to hear this from a lot of us today. We're about 265,000 people in our metro area, and about 30,000 of those are college students. So it's a vibrant small town in the Midwest. Nice little picture of it down there at the bottom. We are not alone in Kalamazoo. This is a lovely picture of our campus, but Western Michigan University is just a couple of minutes away from us. Kalamazoo Valley Community College, as well as a medical school and a law school, all within about a 15-minute walk from our campus. So while we are fairly small, we're part of a larger college and university environment here in our little town. So here's some quick facts about us. I think we're probably the smallest in the group today at about 1,500 students. So more on the kind of traditional small liberal arts college scale. Our students reside on a 68-acre residential campus. You saw a couple pictures of it there. It looks exactly like somebody picked a New England liberal arts college up and plopped it down here in Michigan. Being a small liberal arts school, our class sizes are pretty small. On average, 18 students, some as small as 4, some maybe as big as about 45 or 50, but definitely small enough where you're getting to know your fellow classmates, you're getting to know your professors. And speaking of which, our students come from all over the place. So we're really proud that we've made a pretty substantial institutional investment in recruiting a very diverse class to Kalamazoo College. 1 in 3 of our students are the first in their family to go to college. And they come from over 36 states and actually almost 30 countries at this point with this class that just arrived this fall. Our first day of classes was actually on Monday. Most of our students do receive merit-based and need-based financial aid in order to help pay for Kalamazoo College. We have a fairly low student to faculty ratio, and about 97% of our faculty have a PhD or terminal degree in their field. Speaking of which, being a small liberal arts college, in our case, means that we're undergraduate only. So those professors, they're there to teach you as the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-olds who are in those intra-level classes in the first 4 years of your college experience. We don't have any graduate students, so we don't have any TAs. All of your classes are taught by professors. As I mentioned, we're very close to and well connected with the small town of Kalamazoo that we're in. And as far as kind of the quality of the education we provide, we're in the top 2% of US colleges and universities for the percentage of our grads who receive a PhD. Now, one of the unique things about Kalamazoo College is our structure. We use this thing called the K-Plan. And basically, there are 4 main components. The first is that we have a very open and flexible curriculum. We have over 65 majors, minors, and concentrations. So plenty of opportunities for students to engage across multiple areas and disciplines. Most of our students also are going to participate in professional development and hands-on learning opportunities while they're with us. We feature over 65 different community partnerships for students who are interested in getting involved in that way. And then of course, also many, many opportunities for things like internships and externships. Almost 70% of our students are going to study abroad, and a number of others will also study away while they're with us. We find that to be particularly valuable and a competitive advantage for our students who are able to take advantage of it. And all of our students complete a senior individualized project, basically a small master's thesis before they graduate. Part of life at a small liberal arts college is we try to provide a lot of resources for students. And there's not 1,000 other people who are trying to take advantage of them at the same time. So we have a very robust first year experience program that includes a first year seminar course, intensive academic support through our academic advisors. Every faculty member on campus has an advising load. So that same faculty to student ratio also means that your advisor really is getting to know you pretty well. We have an intercultural student center on campus. It's open 24 hours a day, and they do everything from hosting fun dinners to coordinating events through various student organizations on campus. We're also well known in our area for the ARCA Center for Social Justice Leadership. So students who want to be an activist, they have a home there on our campus. For students who maybe that's not necessarily their passion, one of the things that we'll be able to do is help them connect their professional interests with looking at a way to make the world a better place. That includes a $35 million endowment set aside to fund student research or send them to conferences or conventions and things like that. And then of course, there's other fun things to do on campus too. Student Fitness and Wellness Center is well attended. We actually just built a brand new pool. And we have 18 varsity sports on campus. I should have mentioned, I have that later on in my slides. This is the first one of these I've done this year, you can kind of tell. And then of course, also counseling and health center resources right there on campus. As far as student life, being a liberal arts college, we have a very active music theater and art scene. Over 65% of our students will participate in the arts, even though less than 10% will major in them. We do have residence halls and living learning houses on campus for students who want different ways of engaging in residential life. Many options for student activities, sports, and civic engagement scholarship on our campus. Now, I am your admission counselor for the western part of the United States. My name is Andrew Grayson again, and I'll be dropping a link into the chat so that you can connect with me later. Thank you so much for listening to me today. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thank you, Kalamazoo College. Next up, we have Michigan State University.
Hi, everyone. My name is Isaac Cervantes. I'm with Michigan State University, and I'm excited to share more about my institution. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Right. So I am based out of Southern California. So I manage Southern California and Southwest recruitment. So if you're tuning in from those regional areas, I am your go-to counselor. However, we have a team of out-of-state counselors across the United States. So feel free to connect with us. We are eager to connect with anyone who's interested in learning more about MSU. So let's go ahead and give you some context as to where we're located. Kind of using the mitten reference in terms of the state of Michigan. We are in East Lansing, Michigan, which is in the middle of the state, about an hour and a half from Detroit. And we are about 15 minutes from the state capital of Lansing. So very convenient to get to East Lansing if you're coming to us from the West Coast, flying from Los Angeles as an example. There are plenty of nonstop flights. So very easy to get to Detroit, flying into East Lansing, as you can see there. But a little bit more about East Lansing is it is a nice college town, as you can see there. It's a nice mix of our historic buildings. We were founded in 1855, mixed with some of the new metropolitan high-rises in East Lansing, where students are able to access eateries and just other outings in the surrounding area. Everything is definitely walking distance, as you can see in the top right corner here. Campus is on one side of the street, while the main avenue is on the other. So if you're looking for a college town that's easily accessible through foot or through bike, East Lansing is a perfect place. But to give you a little bit more information about Michigan State, we are a large institution, both academically and physically. We are over 5,000 acres large, with over 49,000 students, as you can see there. We have over 200 areas of study that students can choose from. 17 degree granting colleges and 3 residential colleges. Some of our top majors are going to be business, engineering, communications. We are ranked #1 for supply chain management And we also have some really unique majors such as Bachelor of Science in Packaging. So if you frequent Starbucks and you are familiar with the strawless lid, that concept of that lid came from a student in our packaging program. So very unique opportunities for students to study. We also offer students to double major and minor. In fact, we highly encourage students to really see the intersectionality in their areas of study and be able to further explore whether through research or through attaining a double major or minor. As a large institution, one of the unique aspects that we offer are 3 residential college options. So even though we are a large Big Ten university, some students may be a little bit overwhelmed from the size and the scope of that. But our 3 residential colleges, which are the Residential College for Arts and Humanities, Lyman Briggs, and James Madison College, are all small colleges that reside within our main campus that have different areas of focus. So to better understand what these are, think of small liberal arts college within a large institution setting. So in a sense, students can have the best of both worlds. Our Residential College for Arts and Humanities, as you, by the naming convention, are areas of arts and humanities with areas of social science. Our Residential College for James Madison, or anybody who's interested in policy, pre-law, other aspects of policy. And then Lyman Briggs is anyone who is interested in the STEM field, maybe pre-med. So really cool, unique opportunities within our residential colleges, just for consideration. So one of the big things that we like to encourage students to do within our areas of study is explore what that looks like outside of the classroom. So you will find yourself with a plethora of options to explore through internships, undergraduate research, and you have a lot of autonomy when conducting that research. In fact, a lot of students are able to work hand in hand with faculty who are leading within their industry, within their area of focus. And a lot of times students are able to walk away before graduating with the opportunity of being cited in terms of the work. So it's a lot of great opportunity, entrepreneurships. We also offer education abroad. We are highly ranked within our programming with over 275 programs offered across all 7 continents. So in all 7 continents, including Antarctica, we do offer education abroad programs. Of course, we also offer a student organization. So if you're interested in exploring Greek life, or if you want to explore intramural sports, or you have a special interest, we have over 900 student clubs and orgs that students can be a part of. So when you're applying to MSU, these are some of the admissions criteria that we are screening for. So as incoming freshmen, we're going to be looking at your 9th through 11th grade. And some of the aspects that we'll be paying attention to are any opportunities that students can in terms of taking AP, IB, or honors courses. So if your school offers those course classifications, we really want to see students who are taking advantage of that. As you can see here, we also are going to look at essentially the trajectory through high school. So not only the rigor of your courses, but how have you been performing throughout high school. We are a test optional institution, meaning if you, it is optional to submit test scores. We essentially don't have any letters of recommendation or have an essay component, but we are going to look at your extracurricular activities just for things to consider. So our application is currently open and closes November 1st. And there are 3 ways to apply: MSU application, the Common App, or Coalition app. So this is my information. As I mentioned, I am the manager for Southern California Southwest Recruitment. If you're able to get that QR code, that will take you to a lead of more information so you can get in contact with the counselor in your region and learn more about MSU. Thank you so much for your time.
All right, thank you to Michigan State University. And next up, we have DePaul University.
Hi, sorry, I'm just kind of getting this set up. Okay, so sorry. My name is Michaela Lockmuller, and I will be your admissions counselor if you decide to come to DePaul. So DePaul is a small private institution located in Greencastle, Indiana, which you probably don't know where Greencastle is, and that's completely okay. It's right outside of Indianapolis. So I personally believe that it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. You're in a small town, safe space, but you also have the opportunity to go into a bigger city and kind of explore. Kind of breaking down the student body population at DePaul, we are a very diverse group of individuals, just over 1,700 students, and a majority of those are in our College of Liberal Arts. But we also do have a thriving School of Music, which you do not need to major in to participate in. Looking at our student breakdown, almost 15% of our students are international, about 23% are domestic students of color, and then the rest identify as Caucasian or white. And I think that this allows you to experience outside of what you normally would in cultures, and just kind of really broaden who you are as an individual. We do have a variety of first-generation students as well as legacy students. Looking at some of our top 10 most popular majors, we do have economics, communications, computer sciences, all sorts of things like that. With liberal arts education, I know you've heard from a couple of liberal arts schools tonight alone, but with this, you're kind of going to get a more well-rounded sense. So if you're in science classes and are taking primarily STEM, you're not just going to be doing that. You're also going to be taking a world languages class and all sorts of different things. We do have 49 majors and 56 minors. And as you can see on the other side of the screen, we do have our 4 different music degree options. Our global citizenship. So not only does DePaul try to send you out into the world, but we also try to bring the world to you. Also, so sorry, my cats are playing in the background. We are in the top 10 of the nation of the number of students studying abroad. We try to send between 450 to 600 a year, and we do have over 100 approved programs on 6 different continents. The only one we don't have is Antarctica, but I'm sure if one of you have a really big passion and that's what you want to do, somebody would take you. I will not be joining you on that trip, however. We also have this thing called the Up in Lection series. So we bring world leaders from all over and kind of have them speak in different lectures for students on campus and the community as well. One of my favorite ones was the founder of ESPN, is actually a DePaul graduate, and he will frequently come to our Up in Lection series, as well as we will send a ton of people there on internships. So I've kind of told you some information, but I just want to explain the success that DePaul students are able to see. So we do have a 97% placement. So within 6 months of graduation, 97% of our students have a job or in some form of higher education. That could be medical school, which we have a 90% acceptance rate, and law school, which is an 80% acceptance rate. We also are an entirely undergraduate school. So that means you have first dibs on internships and research opportunities. So 84% of our students do participate in those. And part of that is because of our DePaul alumni. So we have over 35,000 alumni, and those individuals genuinely want to see you succeed, not only as a student, but also further on in life. And I think that that kind of leads to this top 7% of lifetime earnings. And I personally don't believe that your success in life is solely determined based off of how much money you make. However, I do think that this is kind of a good showing point to see, like, hey, DePaul students graduate and are well prepared and do well in life. So our application process, we are on the Common App free, and we don't require any essays outside of what the Common App asks for. And we are SAT and ACT test optional, and we were before actually COVID started, which I think plays into the holistic review process. We do look at your GPA. The average GPA of this freshman class this last year was a 3.9. And I do point out that's the average. That means there were some higher, there were some lower too. So don't freak out if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have a 3.9. I didn't have a 3.9 in high school either. We do ask for letters of recommendation. I personally suggest 1 to 3. You submit 11, I will read your 11. I probably won't be super happy, but I will do it. And we also look at a lot of your extracurricular activities, as well as work, internship opportunities, sports, all of that. And a couple other things I do like to point out, we are a Division III school, so we have a ton of different Division III sports, as well as a ton of different intramurals, as well as Greek life. So about 65% of our students participate in Greek life, and that does not mean that you have to, but just that a lot of our students really enjoy it. We do have a deferred rush. That means you don't rush until second semester of your sophomore year, so you have plenty of time to kind of feel out if this is what you would want to do. And then at that point in time, you can go through the rush process and drop if that's not what you like. But we do have over 24 different fraternities and sororities that students participate in often. And that will be it for me. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to drop this in the chat.
All right, thank you so much to DePauw University. Next up, we have the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities.
All right, hi everyone. I'm just gonna share my screen here and go from there. All right, so my name is Carolina and my pronouns are she, her, hers. I am, oh, not the right, sorry, present. All right, I'm the multicultural recruitment coordinator in the Office of Admissions here at the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. And I'm super excited to get to tell you about the University of Minnesota today. So we are located right in the Twin Cities, so specifically Minneapolis. We do have other campuses, system schools, but I'll only be focusing on the University of Minnesota Twin Cities and representing that. Here's my contact information. I will drop this in the chat as well, so no worries about that. I will also kind of share that at the end, and we can go ahead and get started. All right, so the University of Minnesota is part of the Big Ten Conference, and we are a large public institution. We have around 30,000 undergraduate students or so, and so we are a larger institution, but the way that we kind of help to make it feel smaller is that we're divided into 8 freshman admitting colleges. And so students, when you are applying, you'll actually be applying directly into one of the 8 colleges. So I'll kind of go through them with you, so you have an idea of what we kind of have to offer here. The first one is going to be the College of Biological Sciences. This is going to be dedicated to anything related to the life science, so chemistry, biology. The next is the Carlson School of Management. Here is anything from your traditional business programs such as accounting, marketing. Next is the College of Liberal Arts. This is our biggest college out of all. If you're truly undecided, this is a great place to get started. We offer 35 languages there as well, and so a lot of great opportunities to expand that. We also have the College of Education and Human Development. And here, anything, if you're looking to be an educator one day, that's a great opportunity for that. If you're looking to go into human resource management, we also have opportunities for that. Next is the College of Science and Engineering. And here you can find anything, STEM related. It's going to be super math and science heavy. So if that's something that you're comfortable with, definitely want to consider. Next is the College of Food, Agricultural, and Natural Resource Sciences. It's a mouthful, and so we just call it CFANS here for short, but it's basically a college dedicated to making the world a better place. So anything from food science, plant science, animal science. So if you're thinking pre-vet, that's a great track for that. The College of Design is next, and this is if you're, that you're a hands-on person, if you're looking to have that type of major, anything from architecture, graphic design, apparel design, anything like that can be found here. And lastly is our freshman admitting nursing college. And so students are directly admitted into our nursing program. You don't have to apply to it later on. You're actually going to be directly admitted into it. It's a very competitive college, but we do offer that, and that's our 8th one. So those are just a few that I listed. We do offer 150 majors to choose from, over 130 minors as well. And so a lot more to look at. Make sure that you're checking out our website so you can kind of see. This here's pictured is a picture of our mall. And so it is intended to look like the mall in Washington, D.C. actually. And so it's really, really beautiful campus. You'll see students hammocking on their bikes. We're super friendly biker city. And so if you haven't visited the Twin Cities, it's definitely a good place for that. All right, and speaking of, this picture here is the skyline of downtown Minneapolis. And so our campus is divided by the Mississippi River, which you can see pictured here. And so we have 3 main locations, the East Bank and the West Bank, and those 2 are gonna be divided by the Mississippi River. And you can see the skyline right from campus. So it's really beautiful. And then we also have our St. Paul campus, which is gonna be a lot more nature style. But as far as our career advantage, and diversified economy, because we're in the Twin Cities, students are able to take advantage of a lot of different internship opportunities, fellowships, even if you wanted, it depends the type of field that you're looking to go into, but definitely a lot to look at. We also do host the largest career fair in the whole state of Minnesota. It's so large, we're not able to host it on our campus. It's actually held in the Minneapolis Convention Center. We also do have a strong alumni network. So once you graduate from the University of Minnesota, you're able to join the Gopher Alumni Network, and there are alumni all over the place. I'm actually based out of Los Angeles, and so just people everywhere that I always find that are related to Minnesota. The Twin Cities is also a great place for arts, music, culture, theater, and professional sports as well. We're connected by the light rail, and so you're able to just kind of hop on and go to the Mall of America, the airport, or either of downtowns. We have a really great public transit system. All right, let's talk about costs. So we do offer university-wide scholarships. We have national scholarships, so you're automatically going to be considered for these when you apply. There's no additional application that you need to do for this. You can see here, they're kind of tiered. These are all going to be merit-based. We're going to be looking specifically for our out-of-state students. We're going to be looking for leadership, your GPA, just a well-rounded student. Each of the colleges that I listed, they will also be reviewing you for additional collegiate scholarships on top of that. And here pictured is actually the light rail that I mentioned. Students do have 3 stops that are free for students. They can just hop on and go from one side to the next. And so the light rail also does run through our campus. All right, here is just additional information. If you want to apply, you can apply through the Common or Golden Gopher application. You just choose one method. There is a $55 application fee, but if this is a barrier or a burden on you or your family, make sure to just reach out to me and I'm happy to work with you through that. And we also ask for self-reported academic record. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you to the University of Minnesota Twin Cities. Next up, we have Iowa State University.
Thanks, Andy. Sorry about that delay. Hey, everyone. My name is Dan. I'm a regional admission counselor for Iowa State University, the last presenter tonight. So thanks for sticking around and joining the session tonight. A little bit about Iowa State University. We're a large public land grant tier 1 research institution. We're also one of, I believe, like 64 US universities that are part of the or that are an AAU member institution as well. And then we're also going to be a member of the Big 12 conference. So we have those Division I athletics if you're looking for that atmosphere on a with your college experience. Iowa State's really kind of recognized, or I guess maybe more known for having some really great academic programs, research opportunities, our innovation, and then our campus as well. This picture of campus, I think, kind of sums up just the beauty of Iowa State in the campus itself. Taking a quick look at where Iowa State's located, you're going to find us in Ames, Iowa, a great college town right in the heart of Midwest, right in the center of Iowa. If you're flying in, you'd probably be flying into the Des Moines International Airport. It's about a 30-minute trip south of Ames, so a pretty quick, pretty accessible airport to get to and from campus. As well, on the map, you may be able to see some that we're surrounded by some major cities like Minneapolis, Chicago, Kansas City. So that close proximity is really going to provide a lot of opportunities and options when students are looking for those internships, maybe a co-op or a full-time job after graduation. Taking a look at, or maybe getting to know Iowa State by the numbers a little bit better, Iowa State has the very first public veterinary school in the nation was established at Iowa State. So if we have any animal science majors, pre-vet interest in the session tonight, may want to note that our College of Engineering is one of the largest in the nation. It has some really great top-rated programs as well. Each college at Iowa State has their own career service office. So they're going to offer students different professional development opportunities like resume critiquing, mock interviews, and then really great career fairs each semester as well. Our large alumni network spreads across the entire US, across the world. So when you finish up at Iowa State, whether you decide to stay in Iowa, maybe you go back home, or you want to try somewhere completely different, you have that great alumni network that's kind of already built in and ready to support you as a new professional. And then the location, as I mentioned, we're in Ames, Iowa. Students really love the location. Ames is really great college town. We have about 60,000 residents in Ames. So it's got that really fun college town vibe and a really welcoming community for students as well. Taking a look at a few more facts that make Iowa State a special place, our College of Engineering and our College of Agriculture and Life Sciences host among some of the largest career fairs in the nation. And then kind of unique, our apparel merchandising and design program is a top 5 program in the nation. And they actually host one of the largest student-run fashion shows in the country as well. We are the largest university in the state of Iowa with nearly 31,000 students enrolled. And our students are coming from all over the world with all 50 states represented, about 100 different countries represented as well. Really making Iowa State, the campus itself, a diverse place to learn and grow and meet different people. At Iowa State, we offer about 100 different majors spread across 6 different colleges. So students will study anything from engineering to kinesiology. We have architecture in our College of Design to some really top-rated business programs. When talking to students from the West Coast, I tend to see a lot of interest in our architecture major and different engineering programs like aerospace and then animal science as well. For students that are kind of unsure of what they want to study at Iowa State, that's okay too. Every college has like an open option program, so students can kind of explore within that college, or in our College of Liberal Arts and Sciences, we have an open option so students can kind of explore that first year before going on and choosing their major. Getting into kind of the application process at Iowa State, students can apply through our institutional application on our website, or you can find us on the common application as well. We have rolling admissions, so we're accepting applications currently for students entering fall of 2022. We have a $40 application fee, and we are a self-report school, so there's no need at the time of applying to Iowa State to submit transcripts and test scores. So hopefully saving you and your counselor maybe a little bit of valuable time there. For admission purposes, we use this unique formula called the Regent Admission Index, or RAI. This is going to factor in your GPA test scores in those core courses. And we are test optional for 2022 applicants. We do have some great merit awards as well, or recognition awards starting at $7,000 all the way up to $11,000 on that screen. This is going to be my contact information. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions, and I'd be happy to chat a little bit more. Thanks again.
All right, thank you to Iowa State University. And yes, that is our final presenter of this evening, but we still have a few more minutes left. So I do want to invite all of today's presenters to go ahead and turn their cameras back on so we can do a little round robin and answer some questions here. So the first question that I'd like to ask our presenters today is, what advice would you give someone going through the college search process? And we'll go ahead and start with Miami University.
Yeah, I love that question. I would say, above all, be prepared. Do everything early. Have a list of all your application deadlines, honors programs you might want to apply to. Just be as organized as possible. And probably with that, the advice I would give that I didn't have is to have a kind of a support buddy, friend, parent, high school counselor, anybody that can kind of help you be accountable and stay on track.
I will follow that up with saying a good fit for college for you is not necessarily the same thing as a good fit for somebody else. One of the great things about the American system of higher education is that every school, as you heard tonight, is really, really different. And you as a unique individual are going to be able to find different aspects of every school you look at that are good, and maybe some that are not as good for you. So much of the college search is not just about looking for a school, but it's also about learning more about yourself and what does it mean for a school to be a good fit for you. So my advice would be at the beginning of this all, spend some time thinking about what does that mean for you as an individual.
I'll continue, and I agree with my colleagues in terms of, being prepared and understanding your own fit. I would also say if you have the opportunity, visit campuses. I think one of the things you want to do is see yourself at these campuses. It's going to be a place that you'll be investing your time and energy, and you want to make sure that that investment fits you well, right? And so the last thing you want to do is attend your institution and that be the first time you ever step foot on campus. So if you have the opportunity, you have the 2 semesters, if you are a senior currently, to plan a visit, and as much as you can, especially if it's on your top list, try to get yourself out to these institutions. And then the other thing is just ask questions. There are a lot of nuances to the college application process, and so there is no such thing as a silly or dumb question. So absolutely lean on those folks such as your counselors or individuals such as ourselves who are here to answer any questions as it pertains to our specific admissions process.
Yeah, kind of reiterating what you just said, getting into contact with people is huge. What I did in my own college search process, because I'm sure you guys can see I'm pretty young, so I wasn't in college that long ago. I asked to speak to students on campus because I feel like your admissions counselor can kind of tell you what they are going to tell you all day long, but it's very different to hear it from a student perspective. Also, another thing that I did that I found super helpful was I created an email just for colleges. So you're going to be looking at a ton of different schools. At least I would recommend you kind of reach out and see what all is out there. And I would lose emails or forget them. So I just created my own email account, and then they all go to one place and you know where to look for them. That is my advice. It was very helpful.
All right. I definitely agree with everything as well. Just want to reiterate, definitely ask questions, but plan ahead of time. So sometimes you can tell when students didn't check their essays. Sometimes it has like the wrong school name in the essay and things like that. And those are things that we're reading. And so we want to make sure that you're paying attention to details to students. We know senior year, you have a lot of things going on, but definitely make sure you make the time to just read through everything. If you have a teacher that you trust, make sure you have them look over it, or a peer as well. And so definitely make sure you're taking the time to do so. And then just making a list of, your top 5 and focusing on those, asking those questions, attending these sessions, things like that, and also visit if you can.
Yeah, all great advice from my colleagues. I don't know if I have much more to add, but maybe just to reemphasize a few things to consider would be just be organized, use your resources like us admission counselors as well. If you have a connection with like a college and career counselor in your school or in your community. And then I think something that may have just come about in the last few years is the ability to connect with current students at different institutions and kind of really get their perspective of what it's like to be a student at that campus.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. A lot of great advice there. Unfortunately, we've run out of time this evening, so I think we're going to have to call it quits tonight. But I do want to say thank you so much to all of our panelists for joining us and talking to us about your schools. And also thanks for all of you for joining us as well. When you close this window, there is going to be a link to a very quick 5-question survey. We'd appreciate any feedback that you can provide. You'll also be able to find this session's recording as well as all the other session recordings at strivescan.com/WACAC. Thanks again, everyone, and have a good night.